June 1st looms over us, and the threat that on that date, unless Congress takes action, that the United States will default on its debt for the first time in the history of our nation. All the people who are in the know tell us it would be a disaster of such proportion that it would harm individuals, families, and businesses across the United States, and would ultimately diminish the United States' reputation for the most stable currency, the US dollar, in the world. Individual families would see their 401ks and savings accounts diminish. The interest rates for purchases go even higher. Businesses would fail and workers would lose their jobs. You have to ask yourself, why would we even consider broaching that kind of calamity? Well, you take a look at the agenda that's being offered by Speaker McCarthy of the House of Representatives, and he spells out exactly what his goals are. First, he wants to cut spending in areas that he thinks are wasteful. For example, he would wipe out 30,000 law enforcement and border patrol jobs. How many times has the Speaker's party reminded us that we have a crisis on our southern border and need to marshal our resources to protect America? Whether he's exaggerating or simply stating a fact is your own decision, your own conclusion. But can any part of his warning be answered by eliminating our personnel, our national personnel on the border? I don't think so. This approach by Speaker McCarthy would also threaten housing and food security for tens of thousands of American individuals, including many veterans. It would deprive 1 million senior citizens of access to Meals on Wheels. That's what his goal is in terms of cutting the budget. And I might add a couple other things for your consideration. He would cut money for medical research in the United States by 25%. I've tried to work over the last 6 or 7 years with the goal of increasing medical research spending by 5% real growth every single year. We've gone from $30 to $48 billion in annual appropriations for what is considered the most sophisticated and successful medical research program in the world. And now the Speaker has told us we want to cut back on medical research. Tell that to the families of cancer victims. Tell that to the families that are trying to cope with diseases that are life-threatening on a daily basis.
I have bad news to share with you this Thursday. So inflation is continuing to affect Social Security beneficiaries across the country. Economists predict that a debt ceiling crisis will cause more damages for seniors and retirees. But several lawmakers want to step in, and a monthly benefit increase worth $200 is being pushed and may soon be passed. My dearest friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video, especially if you receive Social Security benefits. Also tomorrow, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, simply click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaway. For more than 2 decades, Social Security beneficiaries have been fighting a mostly losing battle against inflation. The situation is not likely to get any better until lawmakers change the way the annual cost of living adjustments are calculated, and it may get worse if the current debt ceiling crisis is not resolved. A study released by the Senior Citizens League found that the nation's oldest adults who retired before the year 2000 have lost 36% of their buying power since the turn of the century. This is because the cost of living adjustments have not kept pace with inflation. Those retirees would need an extra $516 per month, or about $6,200 a year, to maintain the same level of buying power as in the year 2000. Experts have said that for every $100 a retired household spent on groceries in 2000, that household can only buy about $64 worth of groceries today. But on the bright side, Social Security recipients might actually come out ahead of inflation this year because of the combination of a historically high COLA and easing inflation. The COLA for 2023 is 8.7%. That is the highest in more than 40 years. Meanwhile, the most recent Consumer Price Index data found that overall inflation in April 2023 rose only about 4.9% on an annual basis, which was the lowest gain in 2 years. The COLA for 2023 is 8.7%. That is the highest in more than 40 years. Meanwhile, the most recent Consumer Price Index data found that overall inflation in April 2023 rose only 4.9% on an annual basis, which was the lowest gain in 2 years. That gap might help make up for the financial cut that Social Security recipients took in 2022, when the 5.9% COLA was almost immediately wiped out by an inflation rate that spent most of the year above 7% and peaked at 9.1%. A 3.1% COLA might put Social Security beneficiaries back in negative territory, even if the overall inflation rate settles closer to 3% by the end of this year. This is because the prices of some essential items have been rising well above the overall inflation rate. One reason the annual Social Security COLA often fails to keep up with inflation is that it is based on the Labor Department's CPIW. The Senior Citizens League and other advocacy groups have often criticized that formula because it doesn't account for increases in the Medicare Part B premium. This often leads to Social Security checks falling short of the actual inflation rate for seniors. They advocate basing the COLA on a different index, which is a CPIU, which is a consumer price index for all urban consumers. The Social Security Expansion Act has been proposed by Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Peter DeFazio. The goal of the legislation is to ease pressure on America's elderly by providing Social Security with additional funds. Those receiving Social Security payments or turning 62 this year will receive an additional $200 per month or $2,400 per year if the bill is passed. The legislation seeks to keep Social Security solvent through the year 2096, but it goes beyond just keeping the program going. Under this bill, individuals would not have to wait until their full retirement age. Anyone who turns 62 would be eligible for the increase. Currently, Social Security taxes are paid only in the first $147,000 of earnings. Peter DeFazio and Bernie Sanders want to change this. Their bill would also apply the tax on any income of more than $250,000. A fact sheet on the proposed legislation stated that over 93% of households would not see their taxes go up by 1 penny. One thing to note about this bill is that it leaves a donut hole in place. Any income between $147,000 and $250,000 would not be subject to Social Security taxes. It seems likely that the bill could win enough votes to pass in the House of Representatives, at least right now. The Senate, on the other hand, presents a much more difficult challenge. Well, my beautiful and amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Thursday. Thank you, friends, for joining me here and for being part of this community. Tomorrow, I'll be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter the weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed Thursday.